said that a lot. I think I asked you this a few weeks back, but I'm going to ask it again. Why at this point should people believe that you're the coach to get them to play better and coach better, considering what has been out there so far this year?
Turn left onto Flagstaff Street, then turn right onto Union Lake Road.
From that aspect of it, we gotta go to work. We gotta do some things better. Go out and practice it and go out and perform it. I mean, that's what this game is. Obviously, execution is going to go one way or another, and unfortunately, it didn't go very well for us today. So we gotta get it turned around.
He's not going to tip his hand at all, as he never did. Here's Rustin again.
Your confidence in yourself.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Union Lake Road.
No, I mean, we just come to work every day and go. So I mean, I think from that standpoint, we gotta turn around here. Get it going.
Next up, the Fighting Squad.
In 1.1 miles, turn left onto Commerce Road.
Next question about why people should still believe in yourself. So let me ask it a different way. Do you, how safe do you feel in your job as head coach right now?
I mean, I think again for us, we're just kind of focused on good time and all that stuff. I've had a philosophy for a long time. I go to work every day to try to win a job. That's just what I do. That doesn't matter if it's coaching, doing engineering. I don't care if I'm in school. So, look, we're just gonna go to work and work hard. We all know that. That's what it is. So we gotta go do better.
Do you think on that regard, do you think you've earned the right to continue coaching this team?
I mean, again, I'm just gonna, do what I do here and just go over and do great performance.
And that's one of those, and I understand, you have to ask the question, like, pretty much the answer, and what's going to say, I don't think I've earned the right to coach the job. No. I mean, you do want him to say, well, he does say, I got to coach better. He just doesn't show much emotion, which I think pisses people off a little bit. Next up, the one, the only, Bob Winowski. We call him Wojo.
What makes you think Steve works here now for you with his team, with Bob, with everything that's going on? Nothing seemed to give any indication it can work here. What gives you hope that it will?
I mean, Bob, honestly, for me, I just grind it out every week. I mean, that's just really what it is. There's nothing more than that. We gotta go to work.
At the light, turn left onto Commerce Road.
It's great. They want to work. They want to try to win. We want to try to win. We're trying to win. And, we got to do better. We didn't play well today. That's the bottom line. And, like I said, give Carolina credit.
That's for sure. They certainly played well enough to win. Played well enough to score a point.
In 5.3 miles, turn left onto Orchard Lake Road.
Our listeners will probably remember too when we played the Doug Peterson sound.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, he was pissed because of the question, the lead-in to that in regards to, it was not flattering to him or his team.
Right.
But he showed some emotion. And when you said all we need to do is we need to hear some emotion from him.
Yeah.
That's where you get the contrast of a coach that you can be upset with, but you can believe in because they are as frustrated as you are as fans. And I know that's one of the things about Matt Stafford. He hasn't shown much emotion, that you don't necessarily know that he's as frustrated as we are. You got to believe he is. You got to believe Matt Patricia is, but you can't know. You wouldn't know because there's no emotion at these press conferences.
Right. Caldwell didn't have any emotion either. It's like the Lions hire people with no emotion. Schwartz had some emotion.
Yeah.
But that only takes you so far, as we know. Speaking of one Matthew Stafford, here's Michael Wesley with Matthew Stafford.
Is Matt Patricia coaching you all well enough? I mean, you talk about him coming early and execution, but is he coaching you all well enough to win games at this point?
Yeah, we got enough talent to go out there and win. We just got to go do it. We got to go out there and play better than we're playing. I don't care who you are as a coach. If we don't go out there and play well, it doesn't matter. We got to go out there and play better.
You can read his lips a little bit on the sideline at one point in the game where I don't think it was an F-bomb, it was a BS, one of those things. He was getting pissed. A little pissed at his lineman, I think, as well, but he wasn't going to say anything.
Well, and when you answer questions like that on a regular basis, that in and of itself pisses you off. And it's draining to have to imagine doing that for 12 years?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it is. And you walk into press conferences, because I've been there, and they ask a question that you know is coming, and you know that you can't answer it no matter how you feel about it, and you have to try and come up with an answer that starts out directly answering it, but then you take it in a different direction, and you're not going to say anything about your coach's job. You rarely hear that. You're not going to say anything that's offensive to your offensive line. You're not going to say anything that's disparaging to your teammates. It's exhausting, and it is a miserable existence.
Here's Jennifer Hammond of Fox 2. An interesting question to Mr. Stafford.
Nancy, with all due respect to the time and effort and hours and work and physical toll you guys exert in this game, you have to go all the way back to your rookie season to find the last time that this team was shut out. How is this not rock bottom?
It's one football game, you know. 2 weeks ago we played well. Believe me, I got here in 2009, and from where we are, then to where we are now, we're a better organization, a better football team, more talented. At the moment we don't have as many wins as we wish we had this year. But it's one football game. We got to move on from it and get ready to go play another one and hopefully score a bunch of points and win the game.
Woo! We're better than 09! Yeehaw! Woo! 09 we won what, 2 games? Woo! We won 4 this year. Woo! We're better than 11 years ago. Woo! Stand up, let's go, let's have a parade.
In 2009, they were better than 2008 because they didn't win any games.
Oh, God. I understand what he's saying, but man,
I was in that locker room
that's
in
right.
2009.
You were part of that. You were part of that 2-win squad. You must have loved the first win was against the Washington, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I was walking up and down. I was actually active for that game. I don't think I was active for the which doesn't alleviate any of the guilt on me either. But yeah, when you get shut out and you spent 60 minutes trying to put the ball in the end zone against a defense that up to this point hadn't put much pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They're missing one of their best players in the secondary. You know that they're coming off a week where there was some strife, right? Their linebacker Thompson, they talked about, we have to be accountable, we have to do all this stuff, and you come out and you spend 60 minutes in futility. It is a miserable feeling. The locker room sucks after that game, and it's just. There was an article that went through all of the shutouts. Like, this is the first one since 2009. It's a rare occasion to get shut out in the NFL. It doesn't happen that often. And when it does, you have to look at every single thing offensively. And yeah, maybe it's too late for this year.
It's one thing to be shut out by like the 85 Bears or Ravens. Being shut out by the Carolina Panthers? They stink. They don't have to keep me anymore. Right? They got Brian Burns, by the way. Not that we advocated it at the time, so I'm not going to sit there and say I told you so, but they could have drafted Brian Burns instead of T.J. Hawkinson. Hawkinson. All right, coming up next, what are the Fighting Reese Davises? Who are they? Explain coming up next. Black Friday deals are on now at Taylor Chevrolet. Why wait for a one-day sale when Black Friday savings are available all month long? Check out these Taylor Chevy Black Friday door-busting deals. The stylish 2020 Trax compact SUV, now just $169 a month. You can drive the bold and agile Blazer. I'm driving one, and I love it. It's just $199 a month. Lease is based on 24 months with 20,000 allowable miles at lease end. And courtesy transportation vehicles, GM EPP provisions apply. Must be well qualified and leased through GM Financial Leasing and have a current lease in the household. See TaylorChevy.com for full details. Offer valid through November 30th. Chevrolet, find new roads. You need easy credit? Well, apply online at TaylorChevy.com. All credit apps are welcome. Good, bad, or no credit. Apply now.
In
Deals
1
to
mile,
say yes
turn
to
left
easy
onto
credit.
Orchard Lake Road.
Enjoy Black Friday savings this month and all month long Head on down to Taylor Chevrolet on Telegraph Road north of Eureka. Taylor Chevrolet says yes.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJD AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by two men and a truck. The crash is still working on the Lodge Freeway southbound at Wyoming Avenue, as well as a new accident blocking the right side of 94 eastbound exit to 23 Mile Road. Two men and a truck is the leader in all things moving, and now they're your junk removal experts. So whether you're looking to simplify your next move or clean the junk out of the garage or basement, go to twomenandatruck.com and get a quote today. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
97.1 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text the ticket, standard text messaging rates apply.
This Radio.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Taylor Chevrolet. This is Boomer Esiason with the Radio.com Sports Minute, sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. Whether it's Napa Auto Parts, Napa Auto Care, or Napa Online, you can count on Napa know-how. The Bengals were yesterday's biggest losers as presumptive Rookie of the Year Joe Burrow was lost for the season with a knee injury.
At the light, turn left onto Orchard Lake Road.
The Patriots failed to contain Houston's Deshaun Watson. Detroit suffered its first shutout with Matthew Stafford on the field. Carolina, without starters Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey, made ex-XFL standout P.J. Walker a winner in his first NFL start. Miami had a 5-game winning streak snapped by Denver. Tua Tagovailoa suffered his first NFL loss and was benched for a lackluster performance. Baltimore faded in the second half at home against Tennessee once again, and Derrick Henry took over in overtime. Finally, the NFL's worst coach, least prepared team, 0-10 Jets, were mathematically eliminated from playoff competition. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Napa know-how. At Napa, you can get 20% off 3 or more items with the $4.99 Napa tool bag.
2.2 miles.
20%
Turn
off
right
power
onto
tools,
Old S Telegraph
20%
Road.
off wipers, 20% off oil and more. It's a whole bag of tricks. Well, actually, it's one trick over and over again, but it's a good one, saving you 20% on 3 or more items. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating locations, exclusions apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 11/30/20.
Before you drive the all-new Nissan Rogue, you gotta ask yourself, how rogue are you gonna go? We talking find your spirit animal in the desert rogue? Or Big Blue in the middle of nowhere rogue? Or take the long way home just because kind of rogue? Just a question, but with 5 available drive modes, you're sure to find the answer.
Go rogue in the all-new, fiercely reimagined 2021 Nissan Rogue, now with the most standard safety features in its class. See owner's manual for important safety information. Auto Pacific segmentation. 2021 Nissan Rogue versus latest in market competitors. Base models compared.
Sometimes in business, the unexpected comes calling. From rent increases to increased orders to, I'm gonna say it, unprecedented times. But don't bounce back. Bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig, with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks, and with security solutions that help keep your connected devices protected. Be fast, be flexible, be ready for what's next, and bounce forward with Comcast Business. Help your business bounce forward with this amazing offer. Get started with a powerful and reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business for $35 each a month for 24 months for 2 years when you buy both. Plus, for a limited time, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card when you upgrade. Call 1-800-591-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com today to learn more. Restrictions apply. Limited to new Comcast Business 35 megabits per second internet and voice related customers. Further termination fee applies. Enrollment in Equal Bill not required. Prepaid card offer ends 12/7/20 and requires business internet 1 gig double play.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Old S Telegraph Road.
Life's the 11% rebate sale of 2020. Works drills are the must-have tool for every household. Powered by a lithium-ion battery, they're efficient and lightweight, making them easy to control for any project you need it for. Works drills are 11% off. It's Menards' last 11% rebate sale of 2020. Savings are good until November 25th. Savings are a minimum rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards. Stop dreaming and start driving with a low auto loan rate from Community Financial. Low rates and no application fee mean you'll drive away with a payment designed to fit your budget. Get started today at cfcu.org. Listen to 97.1 The Ticket on your smart speaker. Just ask it to play 97.1 The Ticket. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
97.1 The Ticket and CBS Sports Radio 1270. Your homes for the NFL on Westwood One. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Los Angeles Rams Monday Night Football. Pre-game at 7
is Phil Snow, who's the defensive coordinator in Carolina. This kind of sums up the Lions, okay? It says, how does a team come back from
Turn
giving
right,
up
then
46
turn right onto
points
Wagner Road.
and 544 yards to Tampa, facing an explosive quarterback in his own right in Matthew Stafford? Well, the Panthers held Detroit to 0 points, 185 yards, no trips to the red zone, and 15 on third down. Different types of blitzes, not being married to his three-man front, all sorts of things. Gee, adaptation, it works. Let's talk to Larry in Pontiac, your 97 on the ticket.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you?
No, I just thought, on the line, I told him I think he's doing them a favor by letting them guys go. I don't think they want to be here, actually.
Whatever, it'll happen at the end of the season. I think they should just wait till the end of the season, unless they get humiliated on national television on Thanksgiving. Then you just do it during the 10-day break.
But, gentlemen, what about the city of Detroit?
What about it?
Please don't hang up on me if I can.
Go ahead.
Do you actually think the city has cabin fever?
I think everybody has cabin fever right now.
I mean, it seems like every time we get a good coach here, it seems like once the coach gets here, it seems like they benefit. And it seems like once they leave, they seem to get better when they go somewhere else.
Well, not really. No Lions head coach has gotten another job since they left here.
Well, I'm doing all four sports things. Basketball, you're even get a better job.
Well, look. History-wise, I don't know. Recently, Brad Osmus, no, he went to the Angels and failed there. Talking about recent history. Carlisle, yeah, he went to Indiana, but the Pistons got Larry Brown and they won a title. Then Larry Brown left and was way worse off than the New York Knicks. Babcock left on his own in Toronto. He hasn't even smelled any success before he got fired. So basically, your whole premise, Larry, I'm sorry, is wrong. Wrong. Okay. Yes, Saturday college football. There were two big Big Ten games. I'm not talking about Michigan Rutgers, which we will get into a little bit later, starting within the trenches at 7:02. But in the East, it was Indiana against Ohio State, which was a thrilling game that Indiana actually, give them credit for coming back number one. Okay? They had so many opportunities where they just shot themselves in the foot earlier in the game you could get behind. They could have won that game. That was a great game. And then in Evanston, Wisconsin against Northwestern. And Wisconsin they certainly didn't look like the same team that was in Ann Arbor the week before. And that's because Northwestern played some really good football, and they were motivated. Weird by one Joey Galloway during the week on one of ESPN's college football Today shows, and he was asked a question.
I've been watching Northwestern play, and honestly, I mean, they got a bunch of Reese Davises out there running around. It's not the fast thing in the world, and it is not. yeah, very athletic.
Yeah, basically we're saying if Northwestern would win, would they be in the college football playoff, hunt? He said no, because I've watched them, and you heard him say they have a bunch of Reese Davises, who for some reason you don't know is the main anchor for college football today. ESPN. Call them Reese Davises. Well, I saw some videos during the week, the Northwestern team. They were a little offended by that. They were all during the week, they were calling each other Reese Davis, Reese Davis, Reese Davis. So after Northwestern pulls off the upset, Pat Fitzgerald, the head football coach of Northwestern, was interviewed after the game.
You want to know what college football is all about? How about these fighting Reese Davises right here? Huh, Joey Galloway? How about the fighting Reese Davises?
This seems like it's an emotional win for you. What will this do for what you guys want to accomplish in the Big Ten West?
Well, we're 1-0 this week, and it's great. And we got a huge road test next week with, again, a team that's got a week off before they play us. So as long as Joey Galloway keeps talking, I think appreciate it.
You gotta love it.
That's great.
Oh,
that's great.
Goodness.
And when you watch them play, passion. Okay, that's what really upsets a lot of Michigan fans about the Wolverines. they really, especially, they showed a little bit in the second half when they made the comeback and then took the lead. But during the first half, you can see, John. I mean, the whole, Rutgers sideline was jumping up and down the entire game, and I get that. They're the underdog. This could have been a big win for the program, and I understand. Michigan, we're Michigan. We're just hanging out. And that comes from the coach. And I'm sorry, people always talk about, 4-star, 5-star recruits, whatever. The fact that Northwestern is able to do what they do, it's coaching. It's coaching. Why can't Michigan get that team to play the fire and the fury that a team like Northwestern is? Do you have to be called the Fighting Reese Davises to be motivated? No, Northwestern's motivated all the time because they always think they're being overlooked, and that's just the way they are.
Because they are a reflection of their coach. Pat Fitzgerald played that way. He coaches that way. He is all year last year, they won one Big Ten game, and every time he was asked questions, every time he was in front of the microphone, you could see the agony on his face. You could hear it in his voice. And when you come out, this is exactly what happens for a Northwestern team when you play with passion, emotion, and execution. That defense was unbelievable, coached by Mike Hankwitz, who was a part of that 69 team. I talked to Jim and Dan. They were teammates with him on Saturday, and they said he was a guy that was always first in line, always, the first one to finish a drill. He wasn't the guy with all the talent, but that is a reflection of what you see in Patty Fisher, in Gallagher, in Peyton Ramsey. Now that he's their quarterback, Drake Anderson, their running back. When you play a Wisconsin team that runs the ball 40 times, and the week before, they've got the confidence of running for 341 yards, and you hold them to 4 yards a carry, 136 yards total on 40 carries. That is execution with passion and emotion.
All right, passion and emotion. Sounds like In the Trenches. That's coming up next after this update from TO 97 on the ticket.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. The radio.com sports station. Sports headlines all day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
This update is powered by CarsMetologyCoating.com. The Lions fall to 4-6 on the season as they get shut out by the Carolina Panthers 20-0 yesterday in Carolina. A loss that turns up the hot seat that head coach Matt Patricia currently occupies. After the game, Matthew Stafford was asked by reporters if he thought Lions' offensive game plan was good enough to win on Sunday.
Yeah, we just didn't execute. They were going to play 3 down, drop 8 coverages and fire zones until we got them out of it, and we never did. So kudos to them for playing well, and obviously we didn't play well enough.
It's a short turnaround for the Lions, who will take on the Houston Texans Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. The Texans tuned up for that game by beating the New England Patriots yesterday, 27-20. Other games of interest from the NFL on Sunday. Green Bay loses in overtime to Indianapolis 34-31. Dallas beats Minnesota 31-28. Kansas City wins in primetime, defeating Las Vegas 35-31. Today is a practice day for Michigan State and for Michigan as those teams begin the task of getting ready for a pair of home games on Saturday. The Spartans, after an unexpected bye week, take on 11th-ranked Northwestern. That game will kick off in East Lansing at 3:30, while the Wolverines take on Penn State at the Big House. That game will kick off at 12 noon. According to stories out of Salt Lake City, the Utah Jazz and All-Star guard Donovan Mitchell have reportedly agreed to a 5-year, $195 million max contract extension. Mitchell averaged 24 points a game for Utah this past season. Also reportedly agreeing to a 5-year, $195 million max extension with his team last night, Boston Celtics forward Jason Tatum. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
In the Trenches with John Jansen. Powered by BetQL. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app today or visit BetQL.com.
All right, John, what do we got?
Well, you remember on Friday, my preview of the weekend, and I talked about their Carolina Panthers, Russell Okung, who is their, stud left tackle. Then he had a calf injury, didn't know if he was going to play, and I actually turned the game on about, maybe 4 or 5 minutes late. And the first thing I look for is their left tackle to see who it is, because I thought Everson Griffin, Romeo Okwara, Austin Bryant, which I know he didn't end up playing, that this was going to be an opportunity to attack a young, inexperienced, undrafted third-year player from Trent Scott, who was out of Grambling State University. And I was excited. I turned on, I'm excited. And every once in a while, you miss things, all right? And it was shame on me that I missed the fact that on the other side, I thought that the Detroit Lions would be very successful in pass protection. That it wasn't going to be an inexperienced left tackle for Carolina, but a very experienced tackle for the Detroit Lions. A center in Frank Ragnow, who I have a lot of respect for. He is a terrific player. Didn't play his best game, but this is an offensive line that I did not think would give up 5 sacks to a team that had only allowed 11 all season long, or had only gotten 11 all season long. But one of the things that I talked about that young Trent Scott, the inexperienced left tackle for Carolina, was going to have to do was change up his sets. And if Russell Okoro was going to be in there, change up his sets, throw a change up pitch. And that's what I did not see at all from the Detroit Lions offensive line. They set back every time there was a pass play called. They have the exact same set, the exact same steps, the exact same punch, the exact same every time. And when you do that, you become predictable as an offensive lineman. Jonah Jackson, I would not expect him to be throwing change-up pitches. He's right now trying to figure out just how to put his pants on, how to put his shoulder pads on, helmet, to make sure everything looks good when he goes out there, and hopefully play in between two really good football players, good enough to win ball games. When you struggle in pass protection, what you have to do is you got to throw the curveball. You got to throw the off-speed slider, and make sure that that defensive end, who already has confidence, whether it's Brian Burns, anybody else on the defense, once they get confidence, it's really hard to stop a pass rusher. So you've got to throw the changeup. You jump them and you try and catch them off guard. Every once in a while, you set back and you fake your punch. You do something to throw off their sense of confidence and their rhythm. And I just never saw that from the Detroit Lions offensive line. And it came home to roost on Sunday by not being able to protect Matt Stafford. On the other side, and I mentioned this earlier, P.J. Walker, inexperienced, not seeing NFL defenses, not seeing much in regards to what it means to be an NFL quarterback. And all the way up until this week, I had talked about Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, all of the experienced quarterbacks that have been able to pick apart a defense that has not changed coverages. Yeah, maybe once in a while they'll go from man to zone, but there's no zone blitzes. You heard Matt Stafford on the lead in. Like, they never did anything to get Carolina out of those zone blitzes. Well, Detroit didn't do anything to put pressure or confuse a young quarterback. That to me amazes me. Now I want to take that thought, that same line of thinking, to Michigan and Rutgers. Now, Greg Schiano, Greg Schiano is what type of coach? Where's his base of learning? Defense. And when you line up as a Michigan offense, no matter who's at quarterback, you're going to have an inexperienced Joe Milton. You will have an inexperienced Cade McNamara. No matter who is starts at the quarterback position, no matter how many times they change it, you're going to have a young quarterback. And so what does Greg Schiano do? He brings corner blitzes. He runs games up front, and it's exacerbated by the fact that you've got a brand new center in Zach Carpenter. You've got guys playing out. You've got a true freshman in Zach Zinter. You have a young left tackle. And a whole new offensive line. So you run games, you run stunts, you do things to confuse the quarterback. And Joe Milton has struggled at recognizing blitzes, understanding where the extra man is coming from. And this is where I think Cade McNamara excels. Does Cade McNamara have the strongest arm? No. Is he fleet of foot? I wouldn't say he's slow, but he's not the most athletic quarterback you've ever seen. What he is, he processes things quickly from the quarterback position, knowing that he has an inexperienced offensive line. When he gets in there, he communicates with that offensive line to make sure that he knows who it is they're picking up in the blitz. You've got 5 offensive linemen. They can block 4 down linemen. They can block 1 linebacker, and you've got a running back, maybe a tight end. Making sure they're all on the same page. In his pass to Cornelius Johnson, the long touchdown pass, the reason it was successful, and I'm just going to dissect this one play. At the snap, before the snap of the ball, you can see that he motions and says something to Zach Charbonnet, who is on his right side. Zach Charbonnet, at the snap of the ball, aborts any play fakes, aborts any ball fakes, and comes around Cade McNamara to pick up the blitzing linebacker coming off the left side. Stuns him, actually it's a corner, stuns him, which is a very hard thing to do as a running back because that corner has a 15-yard head start, coming downhill, head of steam. Does a great job of picking up the blitz, and Cade McNamara sees it, knows that he's got one-on-one coverage with Cornelius Johnson, knows that as soon as
starting route to 6007 Artesian Street,
covering him stops his feet. All
in 1 mile, turn left onto West 14 Mile Road.
As a quarterback right now, one is recognizing where the blitz is coming from, getting it picked up, but putting some waft under the ball and allowing your receiver to run underneath it. It was a catchable ball, not because it had touch, not because it was a beautiful spiral, but because there was no one around him. And we've seen this with Joe Milton, and this is something Joe Milton's going to have to learn if he wants to be a quarterback at any level. You can't just sling the ball. You can't just throw it as far as you want and tell your receiver to run underneath it, because these guys are only so fast. They can only run so far in a certain amount of time. Cade McNamara puts some loft into the ball. Cornelius Johnson catches it, and now you have some confidence in your pass game. You have some. That was, to quote Josh Gaddis, speed and space. You're gonna love that. Yeah. I knew you'd love it. But that's the difference in philosophies between a Greg Schiano.
At the light, turn left onto West 14 Mile Road, then turn right onto Inkster Road.
Of trying to confuse an inexperienced young quarterback and take advantage. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. It obviously didn't work for Rutgers when you have a quarterback that understands where things are coming from and how to get rid of the ball. But we never put pressure on P.J. Walker on Sunday to even test if he understood an NFL blitz. We never tested that knowledge. We never tested his ability to process and deliver.
I have a question, a technical question. Brian Burns played really, really well. I've never seen it as much. You obviously have, so this is maybe an ignorant question. Because they pointed
at the stop
out.
sign,
I've never
turn
seen
right
in all
onto
my
Inkster
years
Road.
Watching football, seeing a defensive player whose his signature move as a pass was to go low. And Decker could not get low enough or even get in the way of him.
In 1.9 miles, turn left onto West 12 Mile Road.
Taylor and those guys, they just use brute force and speed. I never saw somebody who was fast and also would just try to get under guys.
You know, there was one guy, it's funny you mentioned that, because Michigan's defensive end, Taylor Upshaw, his dad, Redding Upshaw, used to do that.
I didn't know it was his dad.
Yeah, and he would get low. And what it does as an offensive tackle is you try and pick out a landmark every time. Ideally, it's the numbers, and you throw your hands and you punch the numbers. Well, when Burns
starting
goes
route
like
to
that,
6007 Artesian Street.
That target to hit, it becomes
in 1.5 miles,
now you're
turn left onto West 12 Mile Road.
Chances are your hands are going to slide over the top. What you have to do is when he goes low like that, and the hard part about Brian Burns is he has great balance. A lot of times guys go low and they get off balance, and you can snatch it, what we call a snatch. You just you get your hands on them and you quick snatch them down. They go right into the ground, and it's a moot point at that point. You just jump on top and you have fun until they blow the whistle.
By the way, you just use your quota for the word snatch for the day.
Oh no, I have not. Maybe on air. But yes, to your point, it is is very hard to defend a pass rusher that can get low, take away a decent landmark.
In 1 mile, turn left onto West 12 Mile
Road. That's what makes
Road.
him a tough pass rush specialist.
Thank you, sir. In the Trenches, powered by BetQL. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app today or visit BetQL.com. Coming up at 7:35, we'll get into what the Pistons did with Vinny Goodwill of Yahoo Sports. Coming up next, was a certain football team a little too happy with their win Saturday night? We'll explain 97.1 the team.
Hey, it's John Jansen here on behalf of Southfield Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and anyone who loves sports as much as I do knows just how important the team is. Which is why I'd like to tell you about my friends at Southfield Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and those friends are Bill, team, and their entire fantastic team. They help customers just like you get into the vehicle they really want. They listen to your needs and they make it happen. So let me tell you that if you're in the market for
Make a
new
U-turn.
vehicle today, give the team at Southfield Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram a chance to earn your business. And don't miss out on the Big Finish sales event going on right now with employee pricing for everyone. That's right, employee pricing for everyone. Can't beat that. Get into a 2021 Ram 1500 for only $399 a month. Sign and drive. Whether you live in Birmingham, Allen Park, Novi,
In 6.2 miles, take exit 14C onto M39 and Southfield Freeway.
The Southfield difference today. Visit them online at SouthfieldChryslerDodgeJeepRam.com. All roads in all towns lead to Southfield Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at 11.5 and Telegraph.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. One accident on your drive this morning, 75 southbound just after Clay, that's affecting the right side. Then there's some periodic lane closures coming up today from 9 to 3, 696 both directions at Farmington Road. For same-day service of your furnace or plumbing, call Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. 37 years in the business. A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, 800-924-2123. MastercraftHeating.com. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
Text the ticket using the same number you used to call the ticket. Ticket text 248-539-9797.
Online imaging customer Benny Bartek, accounting specialist with Resurrection Life Church, has an on-base document management system. How have you and Res Life benefited from the Applied Imaging relationship?
They help us do our job better in the accounting department and being more effective for the church. That means that
triple overtime. I get all that. You know, people, they beat Rutgers. They're so excited. No, it's just, they won. They won a game. They needed to win a game just to feel good about themselves. Look, when it's not the same, but you play, intramurals, or you play in a rugby league. If you're a bad team and you finally win a game, that you're excited with your teammates.
Use the right lane to take exit 7 toward M153 and Ford Road.
The question, and look at, and we talked about Pat Fitzgerald and fighting Reese Davis's. They're a reflection of Pat Fitzgerald, Mike Hankwitz, everybody there in Evanston. When you watch and you look at, pick any team, and I will tell you, there's always a one-off where maybe a team comes out and they play flat for one.
Take the exit, then turn right onto Kirkwood Avenue.
Every football team I've ever been a part of, every football team I've
Turn
ever
right
covered
onto Kirkwood
or gotten
Avenue.
to know, they are a direct reflection of their coach, of the leaders on that football team. And if you're not getting emotion from your coach, then you have to look to your captains, and it becomes imperative that your captains generate that emotion. But you will
In half a
always
mile,
be a
turn right
reflection
onto Artesian
of
Street.
your leadership.
I mean, it's human nature. I mean, God, look, and I think that's one of the biggest problems with Harbaugh. There really his emotion that he had his first couple of years, pretty much for the most part, it's different. It's not there. And the caller Pete made a great point. We saw what the Cade McNamara did. I mean, he was fired up for him. Now, as we'll talk about later in the show, maybe he knows that Cade McNamara could save his job. That's number one. And the other thing is, and we'll get to it around 7:50, is Cade McNamara an indictment of Jim Harbaugh? Yeah, Cade McNamara and his performance could be an indictment of Jim Harbaugh. And I'll explain that coming up at 7:50, because it just seems to me that, I don't know, when you see what happened with Cade McNamara, you're sitting there saying, what's the head coach even thinking about? We'll explain that coming up at 7:50. Coming up next, the Detroit Pistons. Troy Weaver, his first-year GM. The draft was wacky and wild. Free agency, even wackier. Most of the moves I kind of like. We'll get an explanation on
At
some
the
of
stop
them.
sign, turn right onto Artesian
NBA
Street. Then the destination
insider
is on
for
your
Yahoo
left.
Sports. Detroiter. Former intern here. 97 Ticket. Vinny Goodwill. I'll join us next, 97 Ticket.